I'm going to show you two clips of what GypsyRose's lawyer actually said about her and her situation and after the plea deal was given. One of them is in a documentary. The other one is outside the courtroom after she received the plea deal that she got. Now, I made a video about this a few nights ago, but I didn't include both clips. I also didn't include another clip I'm going to show you, which is Nicholas Godejohn's actual defense lawyer and what he says about Gypsy Rose. So first, I'm going to show you what Gypsy's lawyer said, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what Nick's lawyer said.
The ultimate ending of the plea was Mr. Patterson reduced the charge to murder in the second degree. Ultimately, the agreement was for a 10-year sentence. I think all of us involved are relief. At the very beginning of this, there was the question of the death penalty on the table, and just uncovering the things that we uncovered throughout this case. Obviously, the anxiety level continued to rise, knowing that she faced life without parole, and ultimately the sentence.
Now, when he says their anxiety continued to rise, it's because they have seen evidence that the public has not yet seen, and they knew that Gypsy was going to die in prison. With that evidence, they knew they weren't going to win if they didn't take that 10-year deal. Now, let you hear this other clip from Mike Stanfield, her lawyer.
We also weren't sure that there was even a defense that we could raise. If we went to trial and we lost, Gypsy would die in prison. She would spend the rest of her life behind bars.
Which she, in fact, should have spent the rest of her life in prison. But, like I said before in many videos, Dan Patterson, the district attorney, was up for re-election that year. In fact, he's still the district attorney to this day. And when you have high-profile cases such as Gypsy's and a lot of pressure coming from the public, because mind you, they were all for Gypsy at that time, that puts a lot of pressure on a prosecutor. If he would have went against the public, he would have probably lost the election. Think about that. Now, I'm going to play what Nick's defense lawyer said, even though he obviously did not do that great of a job, and Nick is trying to get resentenced. But this is what Nick's lawyer has to say about Gypsy.
But she wouldn't stop until it was done. And she was going to find somebody to do it, whatever it took. I want you to think about the ways that she set about doing this. The most important way is she did, in fact, manipulate him. She did, in fact, manipulate him. And we can call it anything we want. That's what she did. She manipulated him into doing this. And again, why did she kill her? Because in her mind, she had no choice. Gypsy manipulated Nick, a low-functioning person with autism. And then Gypsy pressures Nick into committing a homicide against her mother. And that's the way that it's sort of a triangle, and they all sort of victimize each other in some ways. She felt like he could do what she needed done, and she manipulated Nick. She planned virtually the entire thing. She obtained the gloves. She obtained the knife. She paid for everything. He didn't have any money. He couldn't have paid for anything. She paid for everything. I guess she's technically stole the knife, but she told him when, and she made the decision to move it up. She decided, we need to do this quicker because you're about out of money. That was her decision. It was her decision to kill her mother. She talked him into it. He didn't talk her into doing it. She talked him into doing it. Nick was so completely in love with her and so obsessed with her that he would do anything. And Gypsy knew that. And Gypsy knew that.
Now, with all that being said, I want you guys to really think, especially you Gypsy supporters, really think how the court system works, okay? Like I told you, he was up for re-election, the prosecutor. Think about how that works. You can actually go Google it or use ChatGPT. I know how you kids like to use that. I actually did a video on that the other night about political stance when it's a high-profile case, and it gave me some really insightful information. You should go watch it. But, yeah, even Gypsy's own lawyer knew that they did not stand a chance if that would have made it to trial. That should say enough, y'all. That should say enough. And now, she is off of parole, free to do pretty much whatever she wants. Do I think she's going to reoffend again? Yeah. Not in the way she did before, but yeah, I do. Anyway, have a great night.